You are listening to Palucci Performance Podcast, and here is your host, Ray Palucci.
Hello everybody, and welcome to the new episode. Thank you so much for finding your precious time and being with me here today. I'm Ray and I'm your host, and let's go straight to today's topic. Today's topic is one of my favorite topics that I've talked about so far. It's a topic that when I was doing my daily videos, which I still am, haven't been done with a year yet, it was one of my first videos, and I couldn't go in much detail because my videos in social media were short. And I promised then that when I open my podcast, and this is like probably 6-7 months ago, I'll go in much more detail. So today's topic is going to be called success. And this formula or this exercise comes from Bryan Tracy. I don't know if you guys know about Bryan Tracy, but he was a motivational speaker, and like these guys are, they're motivational speaker, but then they have like their own companies and they do this and they do that. But Bryan Tracy is one of them, and I would like to call him also like one of my mentors, even though like it's not as big as Tony Robbins or Jim Rohn and the other guys. I've read few of Bryan Tracy's books, not all, but I watched a lot of his videos. I watched his documentary, and this exercise have been stuck on my mind for a very long time. And I practice it and I've shared with everybody. So today we're going to talk about the 7 C's to success. Okay, so let's start. The first one is called clarity. That's the very first C. Clarity means having specific goals, specific things that you want to achieve. How can you become clear with your goals? I mean, there's 2 things that will determine that. The first one is that you have to become decisive. So you have to make decisions for yourself, because nobody will ever make a decision for you. So you have to decide, where do you want to go? What do you want to achieve in life? Who do you want to become? So you got to become decisive in order for you to have a clear vision, a clear goal. And obviously, the second one is also having a vision, which means by having a dream. You got to have a dream. You got to have a vision. If you don't have a vision, if you don't have a dream, then the goals will kind of like faint or they'll be blurry. So let's say that your dream is to become a bodybuilder. Okay. So now you can make goals. You can make short-term goals, long-term goals. So you have to become decisive, and you need to have a dream. It all starts with a dream. It all starts with a vision. And then you can commit to it, but I'll go more to that. So the first C is clarity. Be clear on your goals and be clear what you want to do and be clear who you want to be. The second C is competence. What does competence mean? Well, competence means that you have to be excellent on your field. You'll never achieve anything if you don't commit to excellence. You have to work very, very hard. And the harder you work, the better you get. The harder you work, the smarter you get. And it's not just smart. You have to work smart and hard. We got to do both. As I mentioned in the other episodes, if you can work smart, good for you. But I haven't met any successful person in the world that has achieved the big goals or has become the best in his field by not working very, very hard. So what does hard mean, or working hard mean? Well, in today's society, an average person works 40 hours a week. So they work 8 hours a day, which means that if you want to become better than anyone, you have to work more than 8 hours a day, or you don't have to take days off and work Saturday and Sundays 8 hours. So if you want to become excellent in your field, you have to put more hours than the rest. You have to work very, very hard. So the second C was again competence. The third C, it is common sense. Sometimes this seems easy, but not a lot of people practice it. Common sense. Think before you act. Look for the valuable lesson in everything that you do, in everything that you see, in everything that you put your hands to. We probably all have heard the phrase in the Bible where it says, seek and you shall find. So ask questions, be curious, try to learn as much as you can. Try to not just have a cap. There's always more to learn. There's always more to know. There's always more to do. So common sense, think before you act. We don't spend enough time on thinking. We're constantly working, and we don't have some time in our day to just think. And is a kind of a meditation that I use, not daily, but I'm trying to use it daily. It's where I just let my mind to go into different places. And then when my mind do whatever my mind wants to, I try to not control it. And then I start thinking about it. Why my mind went there? Why this bothers me? Why this is important to me? So spend some time on thinking, because not a lot of people do that. The fourth C is called consideration. Consideration means finding models to follow. And this is very, very important. If somebody has done something that you would want to achieve, please copy them and do exactly as they did it, because it shows that that has a success. A lot of times we have, like idols, or we want to look up to somebody, which is great because we have to find those models, but we just look up to them and that's it. We don't follow their path. We don't do what they do. And as I've mentioned in another episode, which is called questions, you have to ask questions, internal question and external questions. So find those models you got to follow and then ask them questions, how they become rich, how they had their best body, how they had a strong mind, how they got this girlfriend. Probably a lot of times, or the boyfriend, we think like, oh, he's or she's out of their league. Well, maybe they use something specific to get that. And maybe you have to ask them in order for you to level up your game. Well, this example was a joke. But beside the jokes, ask questions. Find people, find models you want to follow, and follow them. Don't just have them in your corner, just having them and idolizing them. Good to have them, but try to do what they're doing, because obviously it's working for them and most likely will work for you. The fifth one is commitment. And commitment, it's something ridiculously important. You have to commit 100%, because if you don't, then you won't see results. When I was the head coach, I did an exercise with my players, and actually wasn't just an exercise, but it was more like a paper that I had to sign. And it shows that they have to become committed. And there were a few things that they had to follow. Most of them signed. Some of them didn't sign because they thought that this was too much pressure. But I was like, if we all have to be in the same boat and we all want to win, means that we have to become committed to excellency. We have to become committed 100% in every single day. And becoming 100% every single day doesn't mean that you have to, obviously you got to be better than yesterday, but let's say that day you're not feeling. That's okay. With whatever skills and tools and energy you have on that day, that is what you have to do. You got to give your 100% of that day. You have to become committed. If you're not committed, then it's not going to help. It's not going to work. It's just simple as that. And how can we become committed? I like this exercise or this thing that I did to my team, and I've done it with some of my clients with their goals. For example, one of my clients, he wants to start lifting, okay? But he finds it very difficult. So we talked and we talked about like how much time he has, and I told him, I said, listen, buddy, 3 times a week, 1 hour each workout, there's no way that you cannot find time. We got to make time. Wake up early, stay a bit later. I don't know, but you have to do that. And he wants to work out. So what we did, we made a contract with each other. Obviously, it's not like a contract to the attorney or some lawyers, but it's like a contract between him and I. We said that from this day to that day, 2-month period, starting from this week, you have to work out 3 times a week. Each time you are in the gym, you got to send me a picture. And each workout that you miss, you have to pay me $20. I said, at this point, you probably, I won't mind if you miss every single workout because you have to pay me. And if you don't pay me, then obviously you're not going to be anymore my client. But it's not about the money. It's about like because money means a lot to him. And that's why he didn't want to work out. He didn't want to work out because he wanted to spend more time to make more money. So obviously making money is very important to him, which is great. Nothing against it. So losing money for him, it's something that he cannot accept. So for him, losing $20, it makes him pissed. So, if you want to miss 3 workouts a week, then you have to pay me $60. So you see my idea. And what we did, we wrote something together. He put his name and his last name and he signed the contract and he sent it to me. And I have a picture of him and I posted it on social media, but I hid his name. So yeah, that's what commitment means. We got to be committed 100%. And how you can become committed 100% is by signing a contract. Sign a contract with yourself. Sign it and leave it next to your bed. Or put it in a wall so you can see it every single day. That will remind you that's what you have to do. Now, the 6th C is called courage. You got to master your fear. You have to do things that scares you every single day. And those are not just things that scares you in that direction of your goals. For example, it scares me to go and ask my boss for a raise. Well, one way is to go and ask your boss for a raise. And obviously you can't just go like, I need more money because I say so, but you got to show facts that why you deserve more money or what you're going to bring, what valuable things you're going to bring to the company that you are going to earn this raise. So this takes a lot of courage to go and speak to your boss. Another thing that you have, in my opinion, that can help you achieve this courage is by doing things that scares you. And how can you do that? You can do that by doing things daily that scares you. For example, one of those is, going and talking to boys or girls in a bar when you go out. Maybe you feel very comfortable by doing it, but you have to do it. So constantly find things that make you uncomfortable, so then you can start having more self-belief, kind of trusting yourself and building that courage. There is one lady that Tony Robbins talked to her and put her in her book and have invited her in one of his seminars, and she explains why the formula, that's why she became so successful. She has her own company, she made millions, and she finds herself very, very, very successful. But how did she do that? Well, from the very young age, she was failing at everything. And what do I mean that? Because her father purposely pushed her to fail. So every time when she would come from school, her father would ask her like, "Oh, sweetheart, where did you fail today?" And she would be like, "Oh, father, I tried soccer and oh my God, I was terrible at it." And he's like, "Great job, girl." So every day she would have to fail at something. So she failed so many times, which means that she built so much courage and she wasn't afraid, or she didn't have that fear of failing. So when she ended up having her own company, her story is just marvelous. She would go to like every door and ask for donations and make them buy her product. And one thing led to another, and until she built it a big ass company. And it's crazy to hear all her story, but there's a lot of stories out there. So her parents taught her how to fail from a very young age and have the courage to fail. So then when she grew up, she wasn't afraid to fail. She had no fear. She mastered the fear. And that's why she built the courage on the things that she had to do. The 7th C, which is probably one of the most important one, and also I believe they're all important, but I love this one probably more than the others, is called confidence. How can we become confident? Confidence doesn't just come by daily affirmation on the mirror. Obviously, those work for your mental health, and I definitely do that. I listen to I am affirmations daily, and I tell great things to myself. But confidence doesn't just come from words. You have to prove to yourself that you're willing to do it. Because if you're just lying to yourself, if you tell yourself that I'm gonna jump this bridge and jump, when it goes down to the bridge and you don't jump, the second time you go there, you don't have the confidence to do it, because your brain, even though you have said so many times that you can jump, it doesn't understand. It said like, no, we're not gonna jump because you failed the first time. You're afraid to do it, so most likely you're gonna do it. You're not gonna jump again. So confidence is by daily proving to yourself that you're capable of doing big things. Now, if you want to become confident in your goals or in your area, then you have to do things daily that will boost your confidence, whatever little things that you're doing then. So it's a beautiful phrase that Tony Robbins have said in one of his seminars. If you want to do these things 2 times or 3 times to become master, well, first you got to do it 1 time. So once you do it once, then you have more confidence, you can do it over and over again. So build your confidence in your field of expertise, and build your confidence even daily on everything. I mean, as we talked about courage, be confident on trying new things. Conquer your fear. Don't be afraid of failing, and just do things as many times as you can. And if you keep doing it, and more time obviously you're trying, then more chances you have that you're gonna succeed or achieve something. And if you add the repetition behind that, most likely you'll become confident in not just on your field that you want to, but even on other areas of life, because you have proven to yourself that doesn't matter how difficult things are, you're able to go and do this and do more harder things. So again, I can go more in each and every single one of the C's, but the goal of my episodes are to be between 15 and 20 minutes. So I don't want to exaggerate it, but I'm pretty sure that you guys, if you paid close attention, you can write down all your C's. You can write down a sentence of my explanations after all, and you can look at it and practice it and see it and print it. I've definitely written it out, and I have it on my notebook, and I can see it weekly when I check back to my notes, because it's very important to constantly remind yourself of things that you have to do, and also the things that you know. So I hope you guys like this episode. I appreciate all your likes, shares, and everything. I'll definitely appreciate your comments, or let me know what you think about that. And if there's one of the C's that you like more, or one of the C's that you think is more important, please let me know. And how do you see it? What's your opinion for it? Until the next episode, you guys stay blessed.